The new moon in Capricorn is coming on the 30th of December 2024, and I'm here to help you feel rich during it and to set New Year's resolutions. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome back, Cosmic Warriors. Before we do dive into today's video, if you want to learn more about astrology, make sure to check out the Cosmic Check-In podcast. And if you would like to book a reading with me, then go to hannahselsewhere.com. Okay, the 2024 new moon in Capricorn, let's discuss. The sun and moon are joining together in the hard-working and dedicated sign of Capricorn at 9 degrees. 9 degrees is this Sagittarius degree. Therefore, this is a new moon of hope, vision, and optimism. Under the new moon in Capricorn, we set new intentions related to ambition, purpose, integrity, respect, and responsibility. And at the end of December 2025, the intentions we set under the new moon will be challenged and tested, with hopes of our intentions being strengthened. Then, by the end of June 2026, the full moon in Capricorn will illuminate the sky. There is this release that happens. We reap rewards. We have an opportunity to let things go. So, mark your calendars and see how things unfold for you over the next couple of years. Still, under this new moon, celebrate your wins. Review the past year. See what you have accomplished, not just in a material manner, even thinking about resources and security tied to Capricorn, but also psychologically, emotionally, physically. How have you been mature? How have you been wise? How have you grown up? What valuable lessons have you learned from 2024? Especially now with Pluto leaving Capricorn this year. What a time to acknowledge the mountain we have been climbing all these years. Give thanks, breathe out, go within, be self-aware by noticing your setbacks and your successes. This right here is how we feel rich under the new moon in Capricorn. Even if we aren't literally rich or super wealthy, this is about feeling plentiful, feeling good enough, taking time to acknowledge our journey. Of course, we're all on our unique path. This then is also about being okay with sitting in uncomfortable and heavy emotions. You know, if there is grief or if there is loss that comes up, feel through it. With Saturn, the ruler of this new moon, being activated during it, even more reason to breathe out and to just soak in the experiences of the past year. Seeing how you have grown spiritually and which limits and boundaries have you put in place for your own well-being. Now, with Jupiter retrograde also creating a square with Saturn, a challenge is presented. A challenge where it feels difficult to grow and expand because we might feel weighed down, blocked, limited, being hard on ourselves, depressive. But yet, not all hope is lost. We still fight. We still show up. This is about the relationship between expansion and contraction, mental and emotional flexibility and fortitude, to be strong and wise, to see our spiritual gifts and opening ourselves up to learning more. This is so much about self-discovery, our own path, our own journey when it comes to healing. With Mercury then also joining in to create a T-square under the new moon, we are asked to be mindful of how much we carry, how much we take on. Are we biting off more than we can chew? Are we overcommitting, overextending ourselves? And this right here leads me on to New Year's resolutions. Of course, this is something that so many people do, so I wanted to touch on it. Seeing as 2025 begins 2 days after the new moon, I want to give you some quick, useful tips on how to set realistic, measured, practical, doable resolutions. With the T-square in mutable signs, it's easy to get carried away by thinking that we can do all the things, right? This is where we can overcommit, only to find out that we can't be consistent with those very things. So what can we do? First of all, Mars retrograde in Leo and then leading into Cancer in the new year says, slow down, take your time. You don't need to rush. Find power in the pause. I love that saying. Conserve your energy. And then when the time is right, when it feels good, when things feel aligned, then we move. It's all about timing. And as Mars retrograde enters Cancer in 2025, the timing is linked strongly to our intuition and our internal guidance. Therefore, under this new moon in Capricorn, keeping in mind it is the final new moon of 2024, write your resolutions down. See how practical or impractical they are. Ask yourself honestly, are these achievable? Capricorn gets us thinking about the long term, longevity, planning, structure, organization, commitment, discipline, being resourceful. And in the process, you might find that you need to make certain cutbacks, how to kind of limit yourself in a way too. Seeing maybe how you can limit your spending, maybe having to choose one thing over another, thinking about your priorities, task management. And if you can you maybe stretch out your goal to the full moon in Capricorn around summer of 2026? Think about it. See how that feels when we go through your horoscopes. And thinking about it another way, as you set intentions under the new moon within your Capricorn house, consider how Mars, which is the driving force that really pushes the sun to victory, Mars is retrograde in Leo. And so there is this message of confidence and radiance and courage here, following our heart's desire, really what lights you up, what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. And with the opposition between Pluto and Mars, what a powerhouse. Just be mindful of explosive energy or taking things too far, going to extremes, feeling like you must prove a point. Be mindful of your drive and your passions, how you direct these things. Now, the trine, however, between Mars retrograde and the North Node in Aries further points to us possessing a warrior-like attitude, this warrior-like spirit, which is fueled by the enthusiasm and passion and liveliness of Mars in Leo. Again, though, be cautious and respect delays. Delays are going to happen. They're going to present themselves, especially during a Mars retrograde. And with Venus making a square with Uranus, this can highlight security and financial disruptions, which we don't really ask for. But I will say, this square can be a turnaround perhaps for some of us, this change of direction that actually helps us break free. And maybe such things are tied to our self-worth, anything that limits us when it comes to believing in ourselves and investing in our future. Okay, so on that note, let's get into your horoscopes. Aries, During the new moon in Capricorn, you will set new intentions to do with your career path and your professional lives. This is about being successful, especially long-term success, committing to a plan, being responsible. Now, with Saturn also being in your 12th, take some time to sit with whatever feelings, emotions, thoughts, dreams, visions, whatever comes up. Maybe allowing your mind to wander. This could be even about your imagination, but still taking maybe some time behind the scenes just to reflect, to go within, all of that contemplation stuff to do with the 12th house. Thinking about how you can recharge your energy actually. Now, at the same time, with Mercury and Jupiter joining in the 9th and 3rd houses, educate yourself, learn as much as possible, explore new ideas, get excited about new ideas. It doesn't mean you have to act on every single one, but just feel that rush of excitement. Let those things kind of run wild, right? Just be curious, be open-minded, Aries. Then with Mars, your ruler, being in the 5th house under the new moon, maybe when we want to think about how you can slow it down and take your time when it comes to achieving any New Year's resolutions you really hope to achieve. So let's consider with the North Node being in your sign, Aries, this is so much about goal setting. Okay, try your very best essentially here and be creative. Be creative, maybe be a bit of a trailblazer, see what hasn't been done before, what inspires you, what lights you up, Aries. Naturally, Aries, with Pluto also opposing Mars in your 11th, maybe this is about wanting to really feel powerful or to dominate in some way, shape, or form when it comes to a group that you're a part of, or maybe this is about a renewal or a surge of energy to do with group participations. Taurus. So the new moon in Capricorn will happen in your 9th house, and so this is about setting new intentions to do with things like higher education. Maybe it's about schooling or furthering yourself in some way, shape, or form. This is about self-exploration, just expanding your mind, expanding your horizons. It could even involve long distance travel, Taurus, or some sort of training course that you want to take on. So there is this feeling, there are these feelings of accomplishment present in this regard. Now, at the same time, Saturn is in your 11th, so perhaps there are also themes to do with communities, friendships, teams, groups that you want to be a part of. Maybe this is about your future. This is about your hopes and wishes for the future and what you're really trying to build there with Saturn in your 11th house, Taurus. Slow it down, take your time and see what comes through, what insights, what visions comes through. You could be surprised by what is actually rather hidden or mysterious, if you will. Now, Mercury and Jupiter are also joining in with this T-square influence. So you've got Mercury in the 8th and then Jupiter in the 2nd, Taurus. So I'm thinking to myself that a lot of this stuff is tied to finances. I think you're really taking your time to consider what you want to build for the long haul, accumulating wealth, making sure you have enough, plenty, a lot of stuff to do with security basically here, Taurus, is coming through. Now, with your ruler, Venus, actually being in Aquarius under this new moon, I'm also seeing this as the New Year's resolutions that you set under the new moon may be related to your career, your professional life. So if you can, make manageable, practical, realistic steps. Maybe a part of it is about teamwork. Maybe a part of it is also about standing up for truth and freedom. Naturally, Taurus, with Uranus retrograde also making that square to Venus, this stuff, when we think about goal setting and what you want to achieve when it comes to your career path, your professional life, maybe it's also about a sudden change or a disruption. For example, this could be a light bulb moment, something clicks into place. This could be like a moment of, okay, I can see what I want to change or what must be done in order for me to achieve the things I want. Gemini, so the new moon will happen in your 8th house. So this is about you setting new intentions with relation to, we think about things like maybe what you're studying, occult-like practices, subjects. Maybe this is about investigation and research and just really wanting to be successful within these areas, wanting to achieve great things within these areas. And maybe a big part of this is about divination, astrology, or we can look at this as more of a psychological exploration for you, right? Really trying to make sense of your own blockages and limitations, for instance, Gemini. Still, with Saturn then being in your 10th house, what we're also noticing is some sort of plan. You're wanting to put a plan in place when it comes to your future. We think about your life's work, your purpose, something that you're wanting to build for the long term here, Gemini. Now, we also notice that your ruler, Mercury, is opposing Jupiter, and so there's this T-square. So Mercury is in your 7th and then Jupiter is in your 1st. So a lot of this new moon in Capricorn is ushering in a new cycle to do with your aims, your goals. I mean, my goodness, this is about your life path. Gemini, especially thinking about the kinds of things that you really want to achieve and work towards when it comes to one-to-one relationships. Maybe this is about collaborating, getting a certain deal or an agreement, a contract where you can expand, you can grow in some way, shape, or form. There's an interest there indeed. Maybe a big part of it too is about educating yourself or teaching others, for instance. Could be some form of movement, relocation, things like that. So these are just different possibilities, but to really consider then your new year resolutions, Gemini, I would say to try and not get too carried away. Try to be as practical as possible. Move slow. Cancer, the new moon in Capricorn will happen in your 7th house. And so this is about setting new intentions to do with long-term success, maturity, responsibility when it comes to contracts, agreements, certain deals you make. We think about legal matters here. We think about clients and customers here. So these areas are very much highlighted under this new moon. But then we also notice that with Saturn in the 9th, maybe there are certain elements here to do with teaching or sharing, publishing. Maybe it's that you want to publish something. Maybe this is about promoting yourself. This is about even travel in some way, shape, or form, wanting to travel, wanting to just expand your horizons. So much here about self-exploration and opening your mind up to new possibilities, dreams, visions. Maybe some healthy forms of escapism here will come up as a way to maybe help you assess, okay, well, what feels right for me? And just to further highlight, Mercury and Jupiter are opposing one another between your 6th and 12th houses. So even more reason here, Cancer, to go within, to really rest, to practice healthy forms of escapism. We think about retreating, healthy forms of that. Maybe even a part of this is trying to come to terms with overextending yourself, keeping busy for the sake of keeping busy. But yes, we could see this as just a period, a time to let go a little bit, Cancer. And you know what, Cancer? It could be that your New Year's resolutions are somehow tied to certain spiritual practices, teaching. Maybe it is about collaborations and certain clients that you want to work with, for example. Okay, so Leo. The new moon in Capricorn happens in your 6th house. Therefore, this is about setting new intentions to do with the workload, your productivity levels, your stress levels, even just taking a time to recognize how much you have accomplished, how much you have achieved when it comes to your work and your daily responsibilities, how much you have matured over this past year. Leo, for example. Still, what we notice is Saturn is in your 8th. So this could also really be about, right, the work that you're doing, the services you're providing are also tied in with shared accounts, shared resources, paying off debts, wanting to take out a loan, maybe wanting to invest in a business, just as some examples. Maybe even a part of it is about intimacy and, you know, that connection that you share with your intimate partner and the sort of future you're trying to work towards there in some way, shape, or form. And maybe too, a part of it is about your partner's money, you know, so there could be some interesting conversations about how your partner manages their money, for example. But what we also see is Mercury and Jupiter are opposing one another between the 5th and 11th houses in your chart. So we also notice themes to do with friendships, communities, teams, maybe feeling a bit like you don't have a minute to sort of see friends or get together with other people. Maybe there's just a lot of projects you've got going on, Leo. Maybe some projects are more creative, but then others it is more academic and intellectual. But yes, maybe there's just something here about the overload of information and how there could also be potential blockages and limits even when it comes to being able to unwind. It's like, I just need a minute to breathe here. So hopefully under the new moon there is some healthy form of intention setting when it comes to your health, your stress levels, and, you know, just looking after your body, right? Taking care of your body, self-care, Leo. Indeed, we could see this as your New Year's resolutions being tied to greater self-care, greater discipline when it comes to self-care. Virgo, so the new moon in Capricorn happens in your 5th house. So a lot of this intention setting under the new moon is to do with your creative projects, is to do with even children, you know, how you support your children, how you provide for your children, if it is that you want to have a child potentially. Maybe a part of it too is about being responsible, being mature and wise when it comes to your romantic relationships in some way, shape, or form. At the same time, with Saturn being in your 7th house, Virgo, this is also about, okay, recognizing your limits, recognizing your healthy boundaries when it comes to how much you take on, maybe within relationships, for example. But then again, this could also be about what you're really wanting to build for the long haul when it comes to clients and customers and business, you know, those business partnerships, business relationships too. So at the same time, what we also see is that your chart ruler Mercury is in your 4th house and is opposing Jupiter. So there is this T-square happening. So what's also coming through here for you, Virgo, is that there are many changes happening to do with your career path, your purpose, your direction, your life's work, your mission. We're noticing even changes to do with your home life, your family life. Maybe it does feel just a little bit chaotic though in many ways. And maybe for you, a big part of this is to just be practical. Think about how you can address things one step at a time, one task at a time. Recognizing as well whenever you're overwhelmed or whenever your stress levels are going really high. Therefore, coming into the new year, thinking about New Year's resolutions, this is about manageable goal setting. And maybe you do appreciate that more than most because you're all about splitting things, dividing things into smaller parts so that you can then eventually reach your goal. If you are enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe and like the video just to let me know that you find it to be helpful. And you can also pick up a copy of my astrology cheat sheets down below. Okay, Libra. So Libra, the new moon in Capricorn will happen in your 4th house. So Libra, a lot of this intention setting onto the new moon is to do with the responsibilities that you possess or that you carry or that you take on as your own when it comes to family and your home life. Maybe a small part of this is about seeing where you've just pushed yourself past your limits in some way, shape, or form, Libra, honestly. But hey, this could also be about recognizing how you've been successful, how you've been accomplished when it comes to your family life in some way, shape, or form. Saturn then is also in your sixth, and so maybe this is where we notice a bit of like health limitations, health concerns, right? So all the more reason to really take it slow and to take care of your body. But still, this is about being able to re-strategize, reprioritize, to be able to see what is manageable, what is doable. Maybe even a part of your New Year's resolutions, Libra, is about health, right? Health is wealth, it's all that kind of stuff. So indeed, very interesting. At the same time, Mercury and Jupiter are opposing one another in the 3rd and 9th houses for you. So maybe a part of this is being able to manage, in some way, shape, or form, how much you're consuming. You think about mentally, how much you're online, how much you're on social media. This could also be about some interesting insights that come through to do with travel or learning more, wanting to grow your mind, expand your mind in some way, shape, or form, thinking about even how it is that you get together with people, especially within smaller communities, smaller groups, but equally it's about how you share, right? How you share information. Maybe even a part of it is about really needing to speak things out in order for you to feel like you can process things better, Libra. Okay, so let's also consider how your chart ruler Venus is in Aquarius in your 5th and is making a square to Uranus in the 8th. All right, so maybe a part of this new moon is also about psychological changes, breakthroughs, breaking free maybe from a certain romantic situation, for example, or it's that things can really turn around in a healthy way when it comes to romance and love. This could also be about following your heart's desire, doing the things that bring you joy, doing the things that make you happy and bring you pleasure, all this kind of stuff. So there could be some interesting sudden changes that happen around this new moon to do with those areas. Okay, so Scorpio, the new moon in Capricorn will happen in your 3rd house. So what we're thinking about here, Scorpio, is you setting new intentions to do with how you communicate effectively, how you communicate professionally. This is about also the work that you put into some kind of subject or area, topic that you've been learning about. This could also be about significant growth and maturity to do with maybe driving or vehicles, transportation in some way, shape, or form, or considering even long-term successes, long-term goal setting to do with the community you're a part of, social media stuff, or thinking about how you get from A to B, or thinking about your local neighborhood. Indeed, there could be some interesting New Year's resolutions to do with these things. And also what we notice is Saturn is in the 5th house for you. So at the same time, I think a big part of your New Year's resolutions is to do with your hobbies, your creativity, what you're interested in, your passions, thinking about just the things that bring you pleasure and the things that you genuinely enjoy doing. And there's healthy forms of escapism involved there, Scorpio. And with Mercury making an opposition to Jupiter within your 8th and 2nd houses, what we further notice is that this is a new moon that's going to ask you to really focus on saving, budgeting, limiting your spending, maybe seeing where you might overcommit a little bit when it comes to spending. But then again, I can't help but think that you've already been doing a lot of that work. You've been getting curious about new ideas, and maybe you have been budgeting. You've been doing your research when it comes to your financial health, for example. But yeah, maybe there is something that you're genuinely interested in purchasing or buying in 2025. And so there's that New Year's resolution setting there, if you will. And to further highlight your ruler, well, one of your rulers, actually both of your rulers are opposing one another. So we've got Mars in your 10th retrograde opposing Pluto in your 4th. Well, we're also going to see here this real powerhouse energy this passionate, determined, domineering perhaps energy when it comes to really what you want to succeed in. Okay, so we think about your life's work, we think about purpose, we think about you really showing up within your profession as a leader, as a boss, as a manager. But then again, this could also be about you going through some sort of a renewal or a transformation to do with your home life, your family life, or your emotional well-being. Whatever the case may be, this is about really showing up in this determined way. Okay, so Sagittarius, the new moon in Capricorn will happen in your second house. So for you, a lot of this intention setting under the new moon is about, okay, long-term results, what works, what's effective when it comes to my resources and my finances, thinking about even managing your spending habits in some way, shape or form, Sagittarius. And then also with Saturn being in your fourth, maybe such matters are also heavily tied to your home life, your family life, something that you want to maybe build towards. This could be about ownership, possession, property. This could be about having a family or how it is that you raise your family, how you can provide for your family. So yes, those would be certain possibilities. This could be about residency, for example. So basically finances and your home life are very much highlighted around this new moon. And then this is about perhaps setting these New Year's resolutions based on, okay, obtainable, manageable, realistic goals to do with these areas. And we also see that Mercury is in your sign opposing your ruler in the 7th. So we're also going to notice with the T-square some it could be getting carried away. There's the temptation to maybe get carried away by spreading yourself too wide, or feeling like you need to be there for everybody all the time, or feeling like when it comes to clients and customers, or when it comes to business relationships, that there's just a lot on your plate. So hopefully we could see this as you being able to manage things in such a way where you're not too sporadic, or you don't jump on to the next big thing quickly. Hopefully we can look at this as you managing things at a more slower pace, basically here, especially with Mars retrograde being in your 9th house, Sagittarius. Okay, so moving on to Capricorn. Well, I just want to say happy birthday to all of you solar Capricorns out there. But also I want to say that the new moon is going to happen in your sign. So a lot of the intention setting under the new moon for you Capricorn is about yourself. It's about your life path, your personal journey. This is about you. And so I think a big part even of your New Year's resolutions will be about your personal journey, but actually thinking about already how you have established yourself, how you've matured over all of these years with Pluto transiting your sign, Capricorn. Then also with Saturn being in your 3rd house, maybe a big part of your goal setting and the intentions that you set under the new moon is about, okay, learning, really wanting to be in the know, wanting to inform yourself, being open about new ideas, new possibilities in some way, shape or form. Because we think about even this dreamy quality, this creative, artistic quality with Pisces, maybe being able to flow, to see new possibilities. So thinking about your New Year's resolutions, I mean, this could be about maybe you setting to write a book, or to create a course, or to change your social media page, just as some examples. But with you Capricorn, you're going to make things pretty manageable. And then to also recognize that Jupiter and Mercury are opposing one another within the 12th and 6th houses for you. So all the more reason to think about visualization, tuning in, tapping into your imagination. What is it that your dreams are maybe trying to present to you? Is there something about symbolism, mythology, things like that? Spiritual practices very much highlighted around this new moon, Capricorn. So maybe, in a way, this is about even bringing your new visions and your dreams into the new year and seeing, okay, yeah, I want to expand, I want to grow. Great. And then we could also see this stuff being tied in with your work, your services, and your health too. Okay, Aquarius, the new moon is happening in Capricorn in your 12th house. So under the new moon, set new intentions then. This is about setting new intentions to do with things like, okay, spiritual insights, spiritual practices. This is about tuning in with the unconscious parts of yourself, integrating the unconscious in some way. This is also about recognizing your hidden gifts, your hidden talents, Aquarius. So take some time and dig deep. You know, a lot of reflection could also be a really good time to revitalize your energy, thinking about rest, relaxation, and healing. You know, maybe a lot of this is to do with your own personal journey to do with healing. With Saturn also being in your second, maybe such themes are also tied to your self-worth, right? Thinking about the relationship you have with your body, being kind to yourself. Maybe also this is about setting healthy limitations when it comes to your spending habits, seeing also how you've really grown and matured when it comes to your spending habits and your finances over the past couple of years, Aquarius. Plus, with Mercury and Jupiter opposing one another between the 11th and 5th houses, maybe this is also about being open to new ideas, new possibilities. This is about investing in your future. This is about your hopes and dreams. Yeah, expanding your mind, opening your mind up to new possibilities, new ways of seeing things. You know, just this open-mindedness with Mercury in your 11th, and then also to be somewhat playful, to be curious about new ideas, to get interested in really trying out different things when it comes to your creativity. And you never know, you know, these things could really inspire you in a whole new way. And lastly, we have Pisces. So Pisces, the new moon will happen in your 11th house. And so under the new moon in Capricorn, this is about setting new intentions to do with your hopes and wishes for the future. You know, this is about your future self. This is about investing in yourself, the long term, thinking about quality, substance, thinking about maturity here. Yes, committing to a plan, committing to your future in some way, shape, or form. You know, this could also be about the sort of communities you're a part of and how you feel supported there, what is stable, what is secure, and how you've really matured within these areas too. Saturn then is in your sign, Pisces, and so a lot of this stuff is to do with your life path, your aims, your goals. My goodness, with Saturn being in your sign since March 2023, you have really shown up in amazing ways, you know, where you're showing integrity, you're being respectful, you're committing to certain plans, you're being disciplined. Indeed. Naturally, yes, it's still you, so it's also about being flexible and open and knowing when to rest as well. And at the same time, we also notice with Jupiter, your ruler, being in your 4th house opposing Mercury. Well, whenever we consider New Year's resolutions, perhaps this is also about trying not to get too carried away or to take on too much or biting off more than you can chew when it comes to your profession, when it comes to family life and how you show up for your family. Maybe a part of your New Year's resolutions is about, okay, family time, or perhaps a part of it is about even spending more time with friends, for example. But I still can't help but think here with the T-score happening, trying to set realistic goals is going to help you better. You know, it's going to support you more. Maybe try and draw a little bit from that Virgo energy in your 7th and ask certain people for practical advice or tips or help of maybe how you can manage your time a bit better there. You know, we think about with you Pisces, there can often be this lack of boundaries or taking on a lot of other people's stuff. Hopefully with Saturn actually transiting your sign for the past couple of years, you've really been learning a lot about how to set healthy boundaries. Okay everyone, so that concludes your horoscopes for the new moon in Capricorn. I hope this video has prepared you for the new moon and the new year as well. On that note, Happy New Year everybody. If you found the video to be helpful, you can always buy me a coffee. But with that being said, stay tuned for more, and I will catch you in the next one.